You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.
All right, Jimmy Ott along with Randy McKay. It is divisional round for the playoffs in the NFL. So, Randy, any thoughts after the wild card round? Home teams, dogs. They had the big upset. We had a bunch of routes, and we had one number that came short, and that was Detroit against the Rams. Still trying to get over that botched offsides where they called a legal procedure at the end of the first half. That was the only time that the Rams stopped the Lions in the first half. 75, 3 consecutive 75-yard touchdown drives. And they would have been ahead at first and 10 at the 34 with a minute and change to go. So any other quick thoughts on the rest of the wild card round?
Yeah, kind of a wacky first round by the looks of it. And, I didn't get to see all the games. I got to see most of the highlights. But it was, definitely a wacky first round. I think we're on the right side, just didn't get the good results there, especially in that Detroit game, maybe even the Steelers game as well. Just kind of disappointing as far as that goes. And then the big upset did come that I didn't see. I didn't think Green Bay with their young team could go in there, but they looked like they handled old Dallas pretty well there and ended that dream. So we move on and see what they can do against the 49ers, but pretty wacky first round, and hopefully we'll come back strong here in this second round.
Oh, well, in the short of it, though, two young hot quarterbacks, two first-year full-time starters in Stroud and in Love go on the road. Well, not on the road for Stroud, but just couldn't be stopped. Could not be stopped in their games. Went up and down the field. The Philadelphia slide continues. That was extremely ugly, and that should have been worse than it was because Baker Mayfield had a bunch of drops in that game. It should have been worse. And the delay certainly changed the game. They could not have played it, I understand, but it did affect the total immensely and may have affected side as well. So now we get to today in this week's divisional round. And this is your favorite play this week. And let's go to the early Sunday game, 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff, noon out in Las Vegas. And it is up to it was 6.5, but you're looking to buy 7. So Detroit 7 over Tampa Bay. Now to buy it to 7 is minus 124 right now. BetRivers. The total is 48.5. Randy.
Yeah, and they played earlier this year, and week 5 when Detroit was hot, and they won 20-6. Kind of a game where Tampa Bay didn't have any offense. Well, they have a decent offense now. They've been running the ball well. Mayfield's been getting the ball to his big playmakers and Evans and Godwin. Hopefully the tight end catches the ball this game. He had some drops. But this Tampa Bay team's clicking a little bit on offense. We knew going into the year that they had an experienced team. We just had to see where they fit these other guys into the experience they have, especially on defense here. Their defense has gotten healthy. They look fast again. You cannot, and this is the whole strength of the game here. Can Detroit run the ball on this Tampa Bay team that doesn't give up much rush yards with Vea in the middle, Davis, the good linebackers, David, and your guy there, your guy there from LSU, very good, very good run stoppers. Can they run the ball against that Lions team, or can the Lions run the ball against that Tampa Bay team and have any success there? They don't. They're going to pressure Goff. We saw in the second half, Detroit threw the ball too much, in my opinion. They were running the ball real well that first half, couldn't get it going. Otherwise, they could have taken care of that Rams team and not relied on the close win at the end. So that's going to be the whole key to the game. And then can Tampa Bay expose some of this Detroit defense, which did hold in the red zone against the Rams, whether it was them or Sean McVay's play calling came into question there a few times, and some of his strategy down the end that might have cost the Rams a victory. But this game here, I had projected around 4 points. So getting anything over this looks like a pretty good edge to me. with a Tampa Bay team that could pull off the upset here. Detroit did get the monkey off the back, but sometimes might come in complacent. The injury report looks good for both teams. So full strength, but I see Tampa Bay keeping it close, having a chance in the fourth quarter.
Randy, is this common for you when it's on 6.5 to try and buy it to 7, or this particular spot sticks out for some special reason?
Yeah, you have a little better edge buying it up to the 7 there than the 6.5, depending on what the juice is, and the juice is decent here. So it's a little better. It's a little better bet. Of course, I never know. Detroit's still getting heavily bet. The game might go to 7 as well, so maybe lock in just a half unit and then go from there. But usually the buy up to 7 is cheaper than the buy off or on the point of 3. So this is a good move to do that there.
Okay, so it's mainly on the juice, on how expensive of a what you with the juice that you're laying is what I would think that you're trying to say. All right, look, football season's almost over, getting down to the home stretch, but you can still get extra value with the BetRivers Squares. Went up to $10,000 in bonus money. Bet $10 in same-game parlays on any game with the Squares icon to earn a square. That's brought to you by our friends over at BetRivers. The 2 Saturday games, Randy, like I said, the 2 young quarterbacks, hot young quarterbacks. And, boy, the way they're doing it, too, they both can move, but they both look to extend passing opportunities, are not taking these unnecessary hits in running the football. Running is not a big design runs. They just don't do them with these 2 guys. So that lends itself to long-term success. See Jalen Hurts, where it's banging him up right now, and has caused a slide toward the end there. Not a whole lot of run. And there's never been a running quarterback win the Super Bowl, by the way. They are 0-for-57 there. 4:30 kickoff in the early one. Baltimore 9-43.5 right now over Houston at BetRivers.
Yeah, in this game here, they already played. First game of the year. Everybody remember back to that one.
Yep.
I think I had every survivor on that one.
I did too.
Baltimore won 25-9. Stroud, it was his first career NFL start. Looked a little shaky. Didn't really know what kind of weapons he had. But this is a whole different, deal now. Now he's got experience. This hot Baltimore team's got their rest, and their injury report looks a little better. They still got a couple guys dinged up on defense, and so does Houston here. So we've seen this total drop mainly on the weather, and there is 3 weather games this week, unlike the reporter that asked Todd Bowles, how are you going to deal with the Detroit weather? They play in a dome. I hate to tell that reporter, do some research before you ask the question. But this game here, look at the weather report. And this total drop from 46 to 43.5. This is good weather. I lean to the over here a little bit. I think Stroud and company will have some success against Baltimore. We've seen them be successful against against some of the passing teams like Stroud can do, and his options there are tight end and receiver with Collins. So we could see some points there. We could see a lot of points out of Baltimore. We'll see if they come off the bye sleepy or not, but we could see a lot of points as well. So there'd be a slight lean to the over if the weather looks like it's not big winds or any kind of precipitation that's real bad and the field conditions look good. I would lean over. I was surprised about this move, but it must be more of a weather-like move rather than an injury report move. So keep an eye out for this one.
Lean toward the over here. Now, Houston's got a bright future, and everybody's going to talk about them drafting Stroud. But they have drafted not just this coaching staff, but the previous coaching staff as well. They're getting a Nico Collins out of the second round out of Michigan. Dell this year, our third year out of Houston. I mean, Willie Anderson, who had a great game. Christian Harris out of Alabama, another linebacker, had a pick 6 in the game. I mean, this is how you build a team, man. They are really set up for a lot of long-term success. I lean toward them, but having their issues. This one, against a more rested team, it's calmed down a lot, and we've seen some big upsets. And certainly Baltimore, and this is the biggest angle I like. It's fresh in their mind what happened when Tennessee came in there. They have pounded it over. How do we change? Do we play our players in Week 17? Well, we didn't. Just it's constantly on their mind, and I think it's going to have them razor sharp. I'm leaning to the Baltimore Ravens in this one. And listen, big dog. I mean, anybody can miss a couple of domes, okay? So the Lions are 2 domes removed from playing home games outside. It's okay. It's okay. San Francisco on the late one, same deal. Loaded team, but that how they were handled on that game against Baltimore at home. Philly and Dallas trip up, so they secure it. Another team that rested their players against the Los Angeles Rams in the final week of the season. But this Jordan Love, it's not just the Dallas game. It's down the stretch. He has been on fire. He's the hottest thing going of any quarterback. Maybe some NFL teams will mimic this approach of drafting a quarterback and resting him. Love, Rodgers, Mahomes, it's had a little success there. But they can't, the impatient owners aren't going to allow too much of that. San Francisco at home, 9.5, 50.5. You have to think that Schottenheimer, man, last time these two teams played at this venue, San Francisco barely threw the ball in the NFC Championship game where they routed them. Who we looking at here, Randy?
Yeah, and this game, tough to call for me right now, just pretty much leans. This is their first meeting of the year. San Fran did play Minnesota and lose to them in the Dome, but that's when they were on that skid there and then came back from that to secure the home field advantage. This total went up, and I agree with this move from 49.5 to 51. The weather should be good there. We've seen in years past that field get muddy, but I doubt it will. Green Bay has struggled in their history going to San Fran and winning, but I don't think that plays into anything here. You could see both offenses having really good success, both running the ball. Whoever runs the ball the best is going to win this game. And, we got McCaffrey on one end, and then you got the two-headed monster and Jones and Dillon on the other one, So I have to favor the best defense here, and then that would be the San Fran with Bosa and company up front to have some success against this Green Bay offensive line that hasn't been talked about, and they're resurgent, doing very well. Aaron Jones looks like a brand new running back. In the highlights I seen of that game, I did not watch it much live. Was out on a PGA golf course, but he looks like a resurgent man.
He's hot. He's been hot down the stretch, though, Randy.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see if they have success like they did. But I see advantage here to the 49ers up front. So maybe lean if it gets to 10 with Green Bay, covering that game. But other than that, I think that the totals moved in the right direction, barring any kind of weather issue. This game is tough to bet right now, in my opinion.
All right. Well, I've got an opinion on it because both of these hot young quarterbacks, a little recency bias coming in, at least on the early returns or some of the early action on. Looking like some of these two games, little public dogs with the Texans and the Packers. So I'm liking Baltimore and San Francisco rested. I think they'll be sharp. These two teams have Harbaugh and Shanahan are certainly experienced in this spot. I like their playoff experience as a team, as a staff against these young hotshot quarterbacks. What I do got to put them away because I do, certainly these teams, if any, are capable of getting that backdoor cover very late. So unlike a Mason Rudolph against the Buffalo Bills on Monday afternoon. And then the late one, the much anticipated one, and this is fun. finally getting Kansas City out of Arrowhead. So Mahomes making his first road start in the playoffs. This line opened up 2.5. It's now at 3 at BetRivers, minus 103. So -3, minus 103, total 45.5.
Yeah, and this game was played on December 10th, about a month ago. We saw the Bills win in a close one, 2017. That was kind of a grinded out affair. Kansas City, if I remember right, the weather was kind of iffy in that one. I think the winds were real bad in Kansas City at this time. And of course, we got to watch the weather report here. We don't know right now if it's real bad, if it's going to be like it was, supposed to be when they're supposed to play. But we'll see what the Buffalo weather can do. Anything, the winds can be really bad in that stadium. And another big concern here is the Bills' injury report on defense. They have a big stack of guys on linebackers and DBs and safeties that are banged up. We'll see how many of them are playing. And I think that has, something to do with the, line going slightly down to some 2.5s and then back up now to 3, kind of toggling there. I still kind of favor the Bills side to get things done here and kill off this Chiefs team who, I'm tired of them. Hopefully everybody else is tired of the commercials and everything else. Hopefully they can cut the head off the monster here. But we'll see. One thing that I have been looking at, the total move from 43 up to 45 and a halves, even showing some. I'd have to lean under here. I think it'll be another grinded out, tough game inside the 20s. Tough for these teams to convert touchdowns instead of field goals when they do get to the red zone. So I could see another 20-17 type game, especially if the weather conditions come up in the wind. So I would definitely lean to the under here against the move. I was surprised by the move up to 45.5 by the modeling guys. So maybe they're seeing something I don't with the injury report. But if Buffalo has full injury, full decent of their defensive guys, I definitely see this game staying under and being a grinded out run type game instead of a high shootout type game.
Well, keep in mind, this is a night game. It's a 6:30 local kick in Orchard Park. It's going to be played in the low 20s. So high at 26, low at 20 for this 6:30 local time kickoff. The wind obviously is the big concern. That's the big deal for this one. Boy, you got to give it to those Buffalo Bills season ticket holders. Hey, go shovel your own snow and clear out your seat. South Louisiana, I'll pass, Randy. I'm sorry. I can't. It's cold down here, man. We're freezing in the 20s over here, man. It's just too much. So anyway, shame on Buffalo if they can't get these done. I was all ready to just plow in on them, and I'm just watching the game, and one after the next goes down with injury in that Steeler game. And, they got deked on that fake slide, by Allen on the 52-yard touchdown run. But I tell you what, it wasn't like the Philadelphia effort. Pittsburgh still played. They tackled. They played. Micah Fitzpatrick was making a bunch of really nice open field tackles. And it took its toll, the physicality of the game in those conditions, because this is a team that's already had to deal with so many injuries. It's almost like Allen's going to have to carry this team on his back. And so we will see. Those design rushing attempts will go way up in this one now that they're playing for keeps. And this is their big one. This is the big dog to try and get over the hump here with Kansas City. So I wanted to take Buffalo. I'm not crazy about that 3 in that one. All right, so Tampa Bay is your big one this week. Some other leans on the other games. Next week, we'll have the conference championship set up. We'll be down to 4 teams. So for Randy McKay, I'm Jimmy Ott here on the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.